I'm going to share with you some fun, simple games I like to use with my tutoring students using Canva.com. If you are new to tutoring on Outschool, or if you have been considering starting to tutor on Outschool, I recommend you check out this free resource. In this resource, I provide step-by-step directions on how you can create your first tutoring class, as well as tips, templates, and more. But let's go ahead and look on my computer so I can share with you exactly how I make fun games for my tutoring students. Okay, and to start, my first game I have here is a Jeopardy game. So I'm going to go to create a blank worksheet, and I am simply going to create the entire Jeopardy game basically from scratch. So I'm going to text, and I'm going to start by just adding a title, Jeopardy, at the top. Then I'm going to think of some categories. So maybe my categories are, we'll make this a math game. So addition would maybe be one category, and maybe subtraction for the other category. So addition, subtraction. Of course, you could have any categories you would like. And then I'm just going to start typing up sample equations that my students would have to answer. So maybe 5 plus 3. And then I could just create, and of course they could be different. Just for time's sake, I'm just gonna make them all 5 plus 3. And all I'm doing is copying, pasting them all. Then after that, I'm going to try and find some numbers that I can put over these equations. So let's say if I put number 100, and I find this nice block, I like that one. Let me go to graphics and find a better one that should have others. So you see how I click this graphic of 100 because I see many numbers that have a very similar style. So I'm going to make that smaller, and I want it to block my equation. So I will go to position and hit forward. So now my students can only see the number 100, and I would have to move it for them to see the equation. And I would do the same thing. Maybe the next one is 90. Make it the same size, and it's gonna block that again, move it forward, and they can only see that. And I would continue. And I'm gonna show you really quick an example of one I already have created. Okay, so here is one I have already created. As you can see here, I have my 3 categories: addition, subtraction, multiplication. The student would choose addition for 100. I would move it. If the student could solve it, they would get the 100 points. If they couldn't solve it or they needed help, maybe I would get the point, or no one would get the point. But it's a fun, easy way to make Jeopardy! The next game I'm going to share with you is Connect 4. This is such a fun game to play with students. Now, I like to use the presentation format only because it's wider. So I typed presentation up here, and then I'm going to create a blank presentation. Then what I like to do is go to my elements and type in the word grid paper. So I come up with some nice grid paper, kind of like these boxes. So you see how there's ones with a ton of cubes. Then I'm going to crop this down. I'm going to crop it so it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 going up, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 going across. Because that's usually what a Connect 4 game is like. So I have my whole Connect 4 game there. I could definitely crop this so it looks a little bit nicer. Like that. Done. And then you can do whatever you want to put in those boxes. Maybe I'm working with a student that is practicing the alphabet. So inside of every single box, oops, I could put a letter. Like maybe this one's A, and they have to tell me if it's uppercase or lowercase. And you could fill the entire Connect 4 board with different words, questions, punctuation, math problems inside each box. And I'm going to show you really quick one that is already completed. So here you can see a Connect 4 game that is already completed. Now, if I were actually doing this with my student, I would share it on my screen using Zoom, obviously, and then I would just color in the block that I want to use when it's my turn. But super easy and fun game to create for your tutoring students. Now, the last game I'm going to talk about creating from scratch is Hangman. This one is pretty easy. Again, I'm going to create a blank presentation. I'm just going to have mostly an outline for my Hangman. So to do this, I will just find some lines. I'm going to pick a line and just make the little setup that a Hangman game usually has. Looking, come on, something like this. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just a little setup. You can see I love to copy and paste stuff. So something like that, and then I might put a word or a definition of a word. For example, let's say I'm learning about animals. So this animal is pink and has a cute nose, okay? And then I'm gonna put at the bottom how many it would be. Oops. So blank lines, because my answer is pig. And this is great for like vocabulary review if you're going over math terms or different vocabulary words and maybe a story you read, etc. And what I like to do, I'm going to show you really quick an example I already have finished. In this example, it was for science. And it was when an animal tries to copy, imitate, or resemble another animal. On the next page, I will just have the answer. So it's super easy. It takes barely any time to create, and it's a great review game for vocabulary at the end of your tutoring classes. Okay, now the last few things I want to show to you are actually almost pre-made worksheets. So they're worksheets that I found that I think are great to use that are almost already created games. The first one is a math bingo board game. So if you type math bingo board at the top, you will have access to a lot of already basically set up bingo games. Like I really like this one, and it's a free one for the educators account. This one's a really good one, and you can see they even give you a spot where you can type in the numbers. This is a good one, but they already have pre-made bingo cards. Those are great to use for your tutoring students. Another good one is this summer camp board game board. So this one here, I love it. It's already created basically for you. You can just edit, for example, some of those small numbers, and you could add something else to it. But I think this one is so cute and a great one for a board game. My last game I wanted to share with you is, word search. So if you type in word search, there are a bunch of great boards you can use to play a word search game. This one is really, really good because you can just fill in it all by yourself. And then of course they have, this is another really good one too. You open it up and you can easily create a quick word search game where you have vocabulary words or math terms, science terms at the bottom that your student can then find. And then maybe after they find each word, they have to very quickly talk about what that word means. So super cute pre-made worksheets. Now, this does wrap up today's video. Again, if you found this information helpful, I would very much appreciate if you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future content. Actually, a while back, I created a video very similar to the one you watched today. If you need more game ideas, I recommend you watch this video next. Thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.